It's been like 2 months, almost 3 months since I've graduated from university, and I still haven't found a job, and I still haven't really figured out what to do with my life. And it's easy for me to sit here, and maybe it's true for me to sit here and wallow away and think that I'm a failure who's amounting to nothing in life. But I just watched this documentary about these online personalities that I like, and kind of seeing their journey from the beginning to the present day of how they kind of found their footing, all the ups and downs they went throughout their careers, and the success that they're getting today from all of it. And there was a period where it seemed like for just 8 years, they were doing nothing. Like, not doing nothing, but they were creating and they were making things with no promise of any of it working out. And then I thought to myself, and how I feel right now, and the fact that it's only been 3 months. And then I'm like, damn, you know what? As much as I don't really have time, I do kind of have time. You know what I mean? You don't have time to waste, but you have time to wait, and time to be consistent, and time to develop your stuff. And that's kind of the paradox that's here, is that a lot of people tell you you don't have time, and that's true. Time is your most valuable resource, and time is running out. But you actually do have time. Not in that you can waste it. You have a lot of time to work and to get better. Okay. I think a lot of the reason why people put in a lot of work and it takes a lot of years of effort in order to get some sort of success from anything is because the truth is, when you start out at anything, you're not good at it. Okay. Even I can look back at some videos that I had on this channel that you're watching right now, and I look back on some of the content and I'm like, this wasn't that good. I have a good idea here, but the actual execution is not as good. But then I remember when I went and made it, and I'm like, yo, this is sick. This is the greatest thing since indie filmmaking was invented, and I'm about to be the next big thing. If only the algorithm would pick me up. If only people could really see my true genius and talent. The reality is, you're not as good as you think you are, okay? You're always going to look back at this moment of whatever you're making or whatever you're trying to do, and you're going to think, wow, I really sucked at that. And that's going to happen for probably at least a couple years, at the very least, maybe even a year. That's going to happen where you're going to think to yourself, I'm the hot shit. Then you're going to do something, and then you're going to look back like even a month ago, and you're going to be like, you know what? Actually, that wasn't very good. And you're going to do something else, and then you're going to be like, wow, this is great. And then you're going to put it out, and then you're going to look back on it, and you're going to think, wow, that actually wasn't great. And you're going to reiterate that, and you're going to do that literally 1,000 times. In some instances, in most instances, you're going to be doing that literally 1,000 times. Probably 10,000 times you'll get to that point. And maybe on the 50,000th time, then you'll get some modicum of success from it. And it's not because you get lucky, and yes, there are instances where people do get lucky. You get a one-hit wonder, okay? I have a video on my channel that has 867 views. Okay? I don't want to say I'm a one-hit wonder, but let's just say I'm kind of a talented guy. No, sometimes you'll get lucky, sometimes, you'll get swept up in the algorithms or whatever, and people will actually see your content. But the reality is, that success won't last. One of my last videos I uploaded, 6 views. That's real, okay? This video, maybe 7 views, if I'm lucky. But the fact of the matter is, to actually gain some true sort of success, and not just be, not be carried with a wind of luck or with, the algorithm picking you up and recommending you, to not just coast off of that, to get tangible success that's real, that's reproducible, that's reliable. You need to put in so much effort and work. And part of that journey is realizing what it means to actually put in so much effort and work. Because people put in effort and work, and they say, wow, I'm putting in so much effort and work. And then a year goes by of them continually putting in that work. And they're like, actually, I wasn't putting in that much effort and work. Now I'm really putting in the work. And then another year goes by and they look back and they're like, you know what? When I thought I was putting in the work, I actually wasn't. Now I'm putting in the work. And that just keeps elevating and increasing. And it's because you're getting better at what you're doing. You're actually developing your skills and you are molding yourself into the version of you that's best able to manifest the things and the ideas that you actually want to put out there into the world. So, and I know that's hard to hear. That's hard to hear for a lot of people. It's hard to hear for me, okay? I'm only saying this so frivolously and liberally because I myself have been subject to that realization of thinking at the time that, oh shit, I'm putting in so much hard work, man. I can't get any better than this, man. I'm doing it all right now. And then maybe even a month goes by and you're like, damn, dude, I actually wasn't putting in that work. Now I am, going through that whole cycle that I just talked about previously. I've come to that realization myself, and I've come to it partly through, my own looking back and being critical of the things that I'm doing and what I'm actually creating and putting out there and how that aligns with my goals for the future. But I've also received that realization from other people telling it to me. And it's kind of annoying because this is like the whole thing between like the old generation and the younger generations. The older generation's always like, oh, like this and that and blah, blah, blah. You could be doing this. And then the younger generation's like, you don't understand, man. Things are different. I am trying my best. And then the younger generation becomes old. And then they're like, damn, now I realize why they were saying that. It's because it was true. Kind of got off on a tangent there about skills and everything like that. But the whole point is that you have a lot of time. I don't want to say you have a lot of time, actually. Let's walk that statement back. You need a lot of time. You need to have time where it feels like you're doing nothing. You need to have time where it feels like nothing's working out, because in reality, that feeling of like nothing's happening, this is garbage, I'm garbage, is this even worth it? That period is just such a small section of everything that is to come. Okay? You might end up finding success 5 years from now, and then you'll look back 5 years ago and you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. All the different things I was doing, all of the things that I was learning, like, wow, it all culminated to these 5 years. Like, it makes so much sense. But it's kind of easy to look back and then see like the actual progression of your skills, but it's hard to remember how you felt during those times. So it's good to kind of note down that feeling, because then when you go into the future and when you do get some more success, then you'll look back on the times when you were like, this isn't working out, I'm not good enough, whatever. And then you realize, dude, it wasn't working out, but you were putting in the work, you were putting in the time, and all you needed was some patience. I guess that's a better way to describe it, is patience. It's not that you have a lot of time. You don't really have a lot of time, but you got to have a lot of patience. And patience is by definition connected with waiting and time. So yeah, you just got to wait. You got to spend a lot of time waiting. But I don't want to say that either, because that implies that you should just be sitting on your laurels doing nothing, doing the same thing over and over and not trying to develop, not trying to push, move the ante a little bit, which I'm not trying to say. So what am I trying to say? That's where I end the video, and that's where it's left up to viewer interpretation of what was he actually trying to say. Maybe he was going to say something very profound, and then you fill in the blanks, and then you find out the real profundity of it all is actually in you. I need to come up with better thumbnails too. Anyway, the actual profundity of it all was in you this whole time, and me talking and you listening to this in the background. Maybe you heard like 10 words that I said in the first 3 seconds, and then you were like, you already came to your own conclusion of what this video was about, and you either agreed or disagreed with it, and then you liked, subscribed, and left a comment as well. Those are just some of the things that a creative genius like myself recommends that people do a lot of the time. You can't even hear me at this point now. And I'm gonna end the recording, and then I'm gonna do a cool video trick where I go over to the audio for the camcorder. And then you're like, wow, this guy's so dope. And then you realize, damn, the whole reason he's talking about this stuff is actually because he knows about it. Because he's speaking from personal experience. Because actually, he's improving on his skills too. Look back to the previous video, garbage. Look back to this video, cool.